And we are live.
Finally.
Finally, it has happened to me.
Right in front of my face.
Modeling School. Hello and welcome to Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, and I am, of course, here with my boy
Steve. Real name, no gimmicks. What's going on, my brother?
I'm living the dream. I'm now living the urban life.
Urban life. Look at Mantis with the $1 million background. My guy.
Background, yeah, that's what.
See, this is a man right here. This man gets gainful employment, and he does what you're supposed to do. Upgrade your system. Don't feed the kids. Don't feed anyone.
Soon we see me rocking beats. But seriously, welcome to Fanboy Modeling School. We would urge you to like this video, subscribe to this channel, keep tuning in to Fight Juice Online, the only place you can get Fanboy Modeling School. Of course, we were talking about all this week's pop culture news and shenanigans, and there have been a lot. I want to quickly, before we get into it, shout out to Shaolin Iceboxer. He is here. What is up, brother? Of course, we've also got Matt Cat up in the chat. Hail to Fat Mantis. Hail to Steven. Hail to you, Matt Cat. Of course, we've got Rogue Radio, one of our oldest and besties. And of course, Princess Bex is up in the house. And more piling in as I see. How are you, brother?
I'm good. And shout out to Dragon Lady. Dragon Lady's in the place to be.
Oh, Dragon Lady, holla at your boy.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you're catching this on the replay. This is an endeavor of love. Me and Mantis have been doing this for damn near 3 years. We've been on so many different platforms, but YouTube has remained our mainstay. So help the channel out. Subscribe to Fight Juice Online.
Our most shameful time was when we were on Bigo Live.
Oh, Bigo, he's out in those that was like me and Mantis back in the day at the bar at 4 o'clock, still trying to hook up with chicks. That's what Bigo.
That's basically Bigo is. Yeah, basically the booty market. It's the booty.
It's market. Like it's last call. It's last call. We got.
And you're saying whatever at that point.
I don't want to go home alone.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of craziness going on in the pop culture world. A lot of crazy topics.
So many.
But we're going to start with some honorable mentions before we get really like rowdy and disgusting. You're going to slap Mantis. I want to first start off with one that's like very near and dear to my heart, very endearing.
Okay.
Did Steve get a haircut, says Rogue Radio.
Yes, I did. Your boy finally had to bring it down. Getting ready for an interview. Fingers crossed. Y'all keep your fingers crossed for your boy. I'm always bucking for more money. I'll be sad if I get it to be leaving my boy here. You know what I'm saying?
In other words, he's selling out.
Yes.
Beck says, "Oh, background. Yeah, that's what's up." Rye Jones says Angela Bassett wasn't upset about losing the Oscar. She was upset because she wanted the Oscar for Chadwick Boseman. The movie was his funeral. I feel you. We're going to get into that in just a quick second. But speaking of the Oscars, Rye, my first honorable mention is what went down with Ke-Huy Quan, otherwise known as Short Round from Indiana Jones.
Okay.
His acceptance speech, he won Best Supporting Actor for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay. He hadn't worked in many, many years. He's been in the industry for like 30 plus years. His acceptance speech brought tears to my freaking eyes.
Really?
I started crying. Yo, you and me both know what it's like to be like content creators or trying to make it happen. and
Right.
and not make that dream happen, and just keep going for it and keep going, never giving up.
Keep grinding.
And that's what he did his entire life. He was an actor as a child. He came here as he said he came here as a refugee. He started out in a refugee camp.
Right.
And they picked him to be the little sidekick in an only one Indiana Jones movie. And since then, he's been trying to be like an actor, and he's occasionally works and doesn't really. And he talked about the shame of being unemployed and how hard it was for years of work, and his wife wouldn't let him quit. And then he says, and here I am, winning the Academy Award. This is the American dream. And he was crying, and I was crying. I was like, holy, but Jesus.
Wow, that's beautiful. I did not catch the Oscars. I didn't even know they were happening. I'm so out of touch right now.
In America.
I'm so out of touch. But you know what? Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him for sticking with it, achieving such a prestigious moment. A lot of people who are, thespians have been shitting on the Oscars, and we've been shitting on them for a couple of years now. But when you see someone win, who you're like, wow, I can see how this craft and being dedicated to the craft and almost being an off-Broadway actor at a point in your career and then finally being recognized by the committee and your peers, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Right.
Now, when we finally blow up, I want you to know my acceptance speech is not going to be like that. It's going to be like, the many people thought that Fanboy would never take off, that the Hold Up TV would never take off, that Rogue Planet would never take off. And we sweated. And we bled. And to all my naysayers, I want to say, I hope you all burn in the deepest parts of Hades. I will never support you in any of your endeavors. I hate you.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, I wish my father was alive to see this so I could rub it in his fat face.
I'm telling you, Mantis already has his speech for my funeral. He is literally going to stand up there and be like, a lot of you have been invited here and you're wondering why Steve brought you here. Well, he didn't want you to go on living without him. So welcome to your death. Kill all my ops.
Well, we can't joke like that because this is YouTube. But Shallon says the two of you need to do the honorable mention of the disaster that is Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. I heard it was a disaster.
Is it released? Is it out? Is it out, Shallon?
I think they showed a demo and it was like laughable. Like just watching the demo. Rogue Radio says you'll get the job. I speak life to it. There we go.
Ooh, thank you so much, Rogue. I appreciate that.
Well, Steve, you make that money, says Mad Cat. Sell out. Rye Jones says Nia DaCosta changed the Captain Marvel 2 title to protest Monica Rambeau not being chosen as the MCU Captain Marvel. This caused the beef, and Nia and Teyonah are best friends. Okay. Are they best friends? I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
The Goonies is a cult classic kids movie. Yeah, he was also in the Goonies actually when he was little.
Yes.
Without the Goonies, I mean, obviously, it's straight off the Goonies. Oh,
Matt's got no chill.
He said that was a pity win. Oh, come on, man. So what, you got any honorable mentions?
I do, man, and it's one of those things, man. I was just talking to Mantis. I'm in a bit of a weird headspace, but I'm coming out of it. But as I was driving here, looking for honorable mentions, right? I frequent the No Jumper show. Let me start off by being objective. I want to give a big shout out to Adam 22 and the No Jumper crew. As a content creator, I have to respect what he and his team were able to build. I want to give a shout out to AD, to T-Rel, to freaking Sharp. You know what I'm saying? Adam has given opportunities to some amazing content creators, and they're all doing their things on their own individual platforms. Shout out to everyone at No Jumper.
Shout out to House Phone
shout out to House Phone. House Phone is done with No Jumper. He's over at Reconnected. They have their own platform. They're doing big boy numbers, 39K on their clips, 39K on their friggin' after party. They're doing this thing right, man. They're gonna just keep growing.
Rye Jones, are you in the industry? Rye Jones is breaking out all these Oscar facts.
Rye Jones, are you new here? Welcome. We didn't greet you the appropriate way. Second.
Yeah, no, welcome. Yeah, welcome, Rye Jones.
Welcome, Rye Jones.
You're saying.
But here's the thing, man. So I clicked on a No Jumper clip right today, and it title is very clickbaity that says Adam 22 gets heated on live, fires Lush live on air. Lush one is the older gentleman that's on No Jumper. short white guy, underground
He was
MC.
in the rap. He was in the rap battle.
He was in the rap battle, exactly. So I don't know what the context to this entire thing is. There must have been something going on in there. I don't know if it's the No Jumper Discord. And I was just telling Bex, man, if you ever get an inkling to stay out of a Discord, stay out. Yeah, take it from your boy Steve, man. Some Discords just ain't made for you, man. You fuck some shit up, you fuck your whole life up. But basically, Adam 22 came into there while they're doing a show, and he's like, "Hey, can I sit down?" He's like, "Lush, you lied to me. You lied to me, you not bastard," but he said something along those lines, and then proceeds to on air a live stream with thousands of people confront Lush about some things that he may or may not have said in the Discord in regards to No Jumper pay for its individual content creators and other things. Adam called him a snake, right? Called him a liar live on air, which I think, let me just jump out the window, go old school, dumbing out. Yo, real quick, Adam, it's amazing to me that people like you can take such high moral stances on anything when you're the same cat who sold out one of your oldest friends in regards to content creation, put out information about him that he did not air out himself. But here you are taking this moral stance of, oh my God, I can't believe you were talking about these things in the Discord. What happened to it's all newsworthy? What happened to everything's permissible? So he then proceeded to confront Lush, and I thought this was a snake move. Adam, I said it, a snake move, because Lush is like the one non-confrontational guy on their platform, and everyone gets at him. He confronts him and then tells him, like, hey, basically, you should leave until we clear this up on air. It was in this exact moment where I wish that house phone would have taken off on him. I'm glad he didn't, because I don't want to see a black man go to jail, but I wish the house phone would have taken off on Adam. There have been multiple times.
I'm sorry. No. I want you to consider this as a possibility. Right. Is it possible that all this stuff is staged? They have drama. They have public drama at No Jumper every week.
Every week. I'm going to make it a point to clip this portion so we can put it up on the Fanboy IG that doesn't exist. But I'm just going to say this.
Make one.
I'm going to say this, man. Adam 22, there's a special place in hell for lukewarm, no spine having jelly bastards like you. You surround yourself with a bunch of real ones, and then you try to infiltrate the culture with your bullshit. Right. And I'm calling them out publicly, man. Adam 22 is the worst type of human being, man. He's someone that practices selective outrage. Shout out to Chris Rock. Selective outrage. It only matters if it's happening to me. But yeah, he fired Lush or told him to leave live on air. He's a douche. Adam is a douche, man. And I love how of all the people who've come up on his show, threatened to whoop that ass, he tried to take that jacket off when it was house phone. Adam, you don't want no smoke with anybody. This is why people like China Mac don't mess with you, because you are weak. You are a weak man. And if I had a beta sample, I'd hit it right now for Adam 22. Use a beta. You are that guy that sticks around at the party too long and everyone goes, who's this weirdo? Adam 22 is that dude.
Well, I'm that weirdo, but in real life. Because as long as there's free beer, like everyone has left and I'm still by the fridge. People like,
yo, you know what? You are that guy, but there was one night when we left for a party in the Haven. You were not present. You were off doing your own thing, being the best Mantis you can be. And I went to a party with Zeus and Wise, right? You know who I'm talking about when I say Wise, right? And Wise was tight at me because the girl he wanted to be with was sitting on my lap. And then, Zeus.
Story of his life.
Zeus
love you, Joey.
Love you, brother. Zeus was being his usual self. And I got into some beef with some kids because I was the guy that was like, I'm drinking all the beer. It's free. What up? And I was in that moment when the fight was about to break out. I was like, I wish Mantis was here because he would have my back. Oh, yeah. He would have my back. Adam 22 is a simp. He's a loser who's been successful at being untalented. He fancies himself an intellectual, and I hope nothing but the bad on him and his platform. I hope everyone leaves and they get out of there. Because you disrespected a guy that you knew you could. He would never do that to AD or anyone else. He's a punk. He's a punk.
Matt says that Adam guy sounds like a douche.
He is.
Rye Jones, I love all your comments, but like because they're for future topics, I hope you save them.
Yes,
we're gonna be talking about all these things, but you're hitting good points about every one of our topics tonight. Shaolin says the gameplay was horrendous, referring to Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and it's another live service pay to win game. It looks like Fortnite with Harley Quinn. Feedback was so bad it got pushed back yet again. Yeah.
Oof. Someone's gonna get fired behind that one. Like someone said, no, it's good. Let's do it. Let's
he's never done a Discord. Well, you haven't lived, my friend. Just kidding. It's just another excuse to get into fights with people. Rogue says, I'm still trying to figure out Discord. This is interesting. Rye says, Angry Joe called Young Rippa an Uncle Tom and a coconut. Yes. We got to get it looks like people are dying to get into our main topic.
Let's do it. Let's jump right in.
Which do you want to do first?
We got to talk about Young Rippa. We got to talk about Angry Joe.
Let's talk about Young Rippa, because this is funny, because our last episode we got into it about this, but we didn't keep it. It wasn't heated between us,
right? Did we get into it?
We didn't talk about Young Rippa. We talked about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is what sparked the Young Rippa and Angry Joe beef.
Okay.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer, for those not in the know, comes out, and of course they have a black April O'Neil. Now, there were people saying, well, the original April from the 80s comic book was black. Now, I looked at it and I saw a white woman in a perm, and so did Young Rippa. And Young Rippa states this. He makes a video about it. He's like, no, she's not black. She's a white chick in a perm. That's how the 80s were. Me and you talked about it. You were super convinced that she's black. You're like, look, she's clearly
no. I wasn't super convinced she was black. I said she looks like she could pass for a light-skinned sister or a Latina.
Right. My sister was saying, mulatto, or she's the Vidal Sassoon girl. She's there's a lot of the internet's. We got all these ideas. So Young Rick makes his video and it gets out there. Now, apparently, the YouTuber Angry Joe. Now, before I go any further, Angry Joe
is an OG on this shit.
He is an OG. It's strange. He's not my YouTuber, man. I don't really watch his videos.
Continue what you were going to say before we get into that.
So he starts tweeting and talking, making content about people who think the first original April O'Neil were white, and stating that people who believe this are racists. And he has a picture of Young Rippa up while he's talking about it. So, of course, Young Rippa confronts him on this, and he's like, yo, what is this? And also, Angry Joe also said that people who like the April O'Neil from the cartoon, she's like a 12-year-old girl, and therefore you're like a pedophile, which makes no sense.
None. She's clearly a grown-ass woman.
She's a grown-ass woman. She's a journalist on a television channel.
Right.
So Angry Joe, like, no offense, bro, but you're whack. You know what Anyway, so of course, Young Rippa's not going to let this slide. So Young Rippa makes a video where he addresses it directly, and then he says, yo, me and you, Angry Joe, are going to have words.
Right. Let's stop right there. So much respect to Young Rippa, right? Young Rippa did what most men are going to do in a situation like this. Like, you said, what you mean? Okay. When we're in public, keep that same energy. You and I are going to have a conversation, right?
Right.
Now, that could be old man code for if the conversation does not go well, ... Yes. But legally, you cannot hold him accountable for something that's not happened. You can only hold him accountable for what he said. And he said, we're going to have a conversation. And I think that's important for context for all you internet sleuths and social advocates out there. The man never threatened him. He said, we are going to have a conversation.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because a lot of Angry Joe fans were like, he just threatened him. He just said, and then in another video, Young Ripper said, I did not threaten him. If I was going to threaten him, I'd tell him the next time I see you, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. I didn't say that. I said, we're going to have a conversation.
Yo, when you told me that, man, I was like, that sounds like something I would say.
When I was watching it, I was like, Steve.
Okay.
Says this Angry Joe beef is hilarious. Hands down, I'm Rodeo and Young Riverside, no matter what. Absolutely. The first April O'Neil looks Latino or biracial. Yeah, I would agree with that. Screen Rant wrote an article about her being mixed. Whatever that's worth, it's Screen Rant. I mean,
yeah. Good point.
At the end of the day, I think that they're racially mixing, doing swaps anywhere. It's just as Black April is just as valid as any other. I don't think this defines her character.
Yeah, so I agree. So I don't agree, but I can see in your point about race swapping a character. For the first time when you said, looking at April O'Neil, the possibility of her being Black, I was like, well, you know what? This is a character where her race is not central to what the character does. She just has to be a reporter and be in the story. So I guess I wouldn't do it, but if the original was, and by the way, you can't say mulatto anymore. I just want to let you know that you can't say mulatto.
That's the Karens of the world.
There's a whole backstory here, folks, but I want to let you know that Mantis keeps the same energy no matter where he is. And he was at my rehearsal dinner for my wedding. And he used the word mulatto and he doubled down on it. He's like, no, you're a mulatto. You're a mulatto. But I just think this is a silly beef. So I'm trying to understand where Angry Joe is coming from, right? So he's saying that Young RIPPA and people like him who are complaining about this are what? Fill me in, man. Just take me there. I'm stupid.
So he ends up, the beef gets to the point where he literally calls him an Uncle Tom.
Okay, stop. This is a trigger for me and Mantis. Listen,
oh man,
we are two Black men who speak a certain way, who like certain things, but we rep where we're from. Mantis is from Brooklyn. I'm from Harlem. We have strong ties in the community. He's a proud Haitian man. I'm a proud African-American man. The word Uncle Tom it's a word that triggers Black people. To be called an Uncle Tom is it's fighting. It's on site.
Absolute fighting words. I think any court would hold that up if somebody said. But here's the thing that is driving me nuts. And so, first, I want to give an apology to all the white people out here because it's going to sound like I have angry energy toward white people, and it's not that. But here is what I do have to say about this whole whiteness going on. I cannot. It drives me nuts that white people have inserted themselves into the role of ally so hard that they think that they can call Black people racist to Black people.
Yeah.
Or they think they can use the phrase Uncle Tom. I'm telling you right now, if you're not a brother, you cannot fucking use that term. A white person cannot call me an Uncle Tom or anyone an Uncle Tom. I'm
telling you this right now. If I'm willing to beat a brother within an inch of his life, imagine what I'm going to do to you.
imagine the nerve. And just for the record, Angry Joe is Mexican.
No, he's Puerto Rican.
Oh. Well, that just seemed racist right there on my part.
I'm almost positive he is Puerto Rican. I remember him addressing this on the show. I remember.
So he isn't white, but he still doesn't have the right to say that.
Right. It's funny you bring this up because I remember once that I posted on Facebook I asked people what they thought about Candace Owens, and some white liberal jumped in, and I'm like, I don't even know how you and I are friends. Like, I don't know where I know this guy from. And he's like, Candace Owens is an Uncle Tom, and I'm like, I don't know if that doesn't that violate your rules as a liberal. You can't say that word. Can you?
That's like someone has to throw down if somebody says
there's bound to be a fight.
And I don't even care if the sister they're talking about is an Uncle Tom. You don't get to fucking say that. That's gonna bust your fucking ass, kid.
So we got Angry Joe. I want to get back to this a little bit.
Here's the thing, Angry Joe, and here's Rye Jones, who's like helping us out on everything. April O'Neil was young in the 2012 CGI one. So that's the one. He's like saying if you like that one, then you must be a pedo. I don't.
Thank you so much for that. And here's the thing, right? So for canon's sake, shout out to Young RIPPA. In context, though, April O'Neil has always been an adult. The age of the turtles has varied, and in that one instance, April O'Neil was a younger person. But in the original source material, April O'Neil was a reporter.
Yeah.
Not a Nickelodeon commentator, right? She was a friggin' reporter. She's a grown-ass woman that encountered a secret underbelly world where turtles were running around fighting ninjas. They call themselves the Foot for
Clan.
legal reasons, right?
Yeah, right. So I mean, and like, remember, my argument as to why I've explained my argument as to why she should be sexy.
Yeah, you hate ugly people.
Well, that and just because in the original comic, and it's definitely implied in the cartoon, but in the original comic, they're teenagers, they're having hormones, and they all four of them have lust for her because it's this hot human female is around them,
especially
and
Donatello.
deal with that. Yeah, they're like, and so I think that's an important part of the story. But
right.
Shaolin says Rippa said they better never meet in person.
Oh, well, little context on Rippa, man. I'm not going to get into his whole backstory, but his name, Young Rippa, or he hasn't, I'm not going to shout it out, but he has another name that's attached to the Young Ripper one. And it's actually for a set he used to belong to down in Texas.
Okay.
So Rippa is like a reformed guy who got himself together mentally and monetarily and lifestyle wise. This is clearly not a man to be trifled with, right? He's got
what you're saying.
He's got
Crips v Cholos in here.
Or Crips v Latin Kings. We want to get specific. So I want to ask you a question in regards to Angry Joe. So you're not the biggest fan of his content. Is that because you don't think he has good takes? So what is it? What do you think there?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. We all gravitate to different content creators, and he's just. I've tried to watch his videos. I think when we finished watching Black Adam, I think he was the first guy we turned on, right? And then
on the car drive home,
was the second one. But like I don't find him to be a very good like he doesn't analyze it well, and I don't know. Yeah, he just rubs me the wrong way.
I love that Shaolin Iceboxer said, "I'm sorry, beefing with Angry Joe is something I could never do. A 3-year-old child would beat his A. I'd feel like a bullet in middle school."
There we go.
Yeah, I honestly, Shaolin, I'm gonna throw out some martial arts jargon. I would probably let Angry Joe pass into my guard, even get into full mount, just so I can grab his arms, buck him off me, and choke him with his own arm. Like that.
Says, if I was Young Ripper, I would have asked for his address and say, "I'll be over in a minute."
In 1 minute. Anyone that still wears that jacket that Wolverine wore in fucking X-Men.
Yeah, come on. It's like Icy Mike from Hard to Hurt says. Like he always says, he always puts up tweets, and he's like, if you have an anime character as a profile character, you can't fight. If you're watching, if you're wearing X-Men apparel from the 2000 movies, you can't fight.
Bro, if you're wearing the Hugh Jackman jacket from X-Men proper part 1.
Not in part 2, guys. Part 1.
Part 1. There's a good chance you can't fight.
Yeah. Brian says some black people have white skin, i.e., Prison Break TV series actor is black, Wentworth Miller, but his skin. Yeah. But yeah, I'm saying, yes, blackness comes in many different shades, absolutely, and not only that, it's a social construction.
Blackness is a state of mind.
Well, no, because then people are going to start identifying as black. I'm dead in that right there. There's going to be no more whatever that checks. Rachel Dolezal, no more of that. But what I'm saying is there is a great rainbow of what is blackness, and it's not just one shade of anything. But I'll tell you, one shade it's not is the Angry Joe shade.
Well, wait, Ancestry.com has shown us you could be Angry Joe shade and like have not. Here's the thing: a lot of Puerto Ricans will have at least 15, maybe even 20% Nigerian in them.
Oh, that's what. I should call him out and be like, let's see your ancestry. What percentage is black? What percentage black do you have to be to use the term Uncle Tom without getting punched?
Well, if it was like the 1800s, all you needed was 1%. But now I'm looking for at least 50. I'm looking for at least 50.
Black people in the Solomon Islands near Australia have a blonde hair and blue eyes, or red hair and green eyes. Yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Go ahead.
I hate, and Shaolin says, I hate it when people who aren't black use it, especially. Absolutely, it's absolutely an inside baseball commentary between black people, and they get to decide who is that.
I don't even think black people. I think Uncle Tom is right up there with the N-word, right? And I use it, and you know, me and Mantis get a little saucy sometimes, and we start throwing N-words back and forth at each other. But we try not to do it in public.
Yeah.
But I really do feel as if, though, if you don't know the history of the term Uncle Tom, it means you're illiterate or you're ignorant. Uncle Tom was the hero of that story.
Yeah.
So to call someone an Uncle Tom and not know what the context there, it only shows your stupidity. But let's try to be objective here. Let's look at it from Angry Joe's side. Do you think Angry Joe has any valid points at all, if you're assuming his point of view?
No, I don't think you mean in general or in this particular April O'Neil beef.
In this April O'Neil beef.
Okay, so I believe that when you calling somebody here's what it is. I argue with racists all the time. I don't even call them racists. Calling somebody a racist or a white supremacist or something like that is the weakest type of argument, because the truth is it means you don't have an argument. You don't know how to argue with the person, and you're using name calling, and you're trying to associate, or if you call them a Nazi, or if you call them a Hitler or whatever, any of those things, it's all insincere. You have to at least explain how they are these things. People throw those words around. They're like, you're a fascist. You don't even know what a fascist is.
In what way are they a
fascist? Kids on here don't even know that fascism was a leftist movement in the first place. So it's just like, so his argument, his first opening argument, that someone who thinks that the 80s April O'Neil was white are racists, is already stupid.
Right.
Absolutely stupid on his face right there.
Okay. I would actually go on to agree with that, right? Because this is where his argument falls apart. RIPPA never insulted, well, he probably did, but he never insulted Angry Joe, right? I know that RIPPA probably said, y'all stupid for thinking this thing. You know, he's got that Texan draw.
Yes.
That savage draw. But like, us New Yorkers, we know how to live life here up in the North. But RIPPA never attacked anyone personally, I believe, in this. He attacked the point. He's like, look, historically, I think that I can make a case that the artist's intention was for this person to be white. For you to then go online and say, no, if you think otherwise, you are a coconut or an Uncle Tom, that's treading in dangerous territory, especially for a man. Get ready for the atomic bomb here, Mantis. Angry Joe dealt with slander that nearly ruined his YouTube career less than 2 years ago. A woman accused him of being a beep.
Oh.
So he understands the weight of false accusations, right? It's a real, I don't know if you know this, it's a real thing to call someone an Uncle Tom. You're not only calling them whitewashed, but you are saying something about their integrity. You're calling young RIPPA a shill. You're saying that he can't be trusted, that he is a plant. He's an op. He's been put here to lead people astray. That's why RIPPA responded that way. That's the heart of it. You're saying that I am something that I am not, that I'm doing something that I am not, that I'm not doing. You insinuating something. You dig what I'm saying here?
Absolutely. I think it's 1,000% wrong on Joe's part. I think RIPPA is being his ordinary alpha, like you said. He says things that get people pissed off, but he never actually attacks people.
Well, he attacks his ops. He definitely will say monetize your haters. Like he calls them idiots, all types of stuff. But he attacks the point first, right?
He attacks the point first, and people come at him just because he makes a point, and that's the internet for you.
No, that is the internet. Now, here's the real question. Let's get deep, philosophical. Let's get transcendent with the conversation, Mantis. Are you ready to go first year philosophy class right now?
Taking me back to my African studies days. Pulse. Let's do this.
Deeper thought here. Who's going to win in a fist fight between?
Young Angry Joe is a pampered little. Oh my god!
If it was Angry Joe's, I don't want to call him his sidekick, but his co-host, a little stocky fellow, I think he would give young RIPPA more of a run for his money. But at the same time, here's the thing, right? Your fans are now saying that Young Ripper threatened you, but should you not be held to account for your words? It's not cancel culture, it's accountability culture. You said something, you wrote a check, so now this man saying, when I see you, be ready to cash that check.
You know, you know how I think we collectively, but I'll take it on myself. Me constantly saying that like it's the end of days, the world is falling apart, society's falling apart, right?
No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that made society so soft is we stopped having duels, and I believe we should be able to have duels, including fisticuff duels.
Honor
You
based.
should be able to be like, you dishonored me, sir. Let's do this.
Let's go.
I think it should be absolutely legal. I know nowadays you're not supposed to say that because we're all supposed to be so fucking civilized. We don't fucking settle things with our fists. Yeah, only yeah, whatever. Fuck that.
So the next episode of Fanboy will definitely be on Rumble. Yo, shout out to Public Friend. Welcome in, Public. Welcome in.
Public, what up? So Matt says, I can confidently say I never use that term. Rye says, as Candace Owens mentioned, Brazil had more black slaves than any country on earth. They had 10 times more black slaves than the U.S. did. Yeah, they absolutely did. You know, in Brazil, for each shade you are, they have a different word for you. And so there's 12 different degrees of like blackness there.
Now, Rye Jones, do you know who had the most African slaves? I'm sorry, RM. I love you, RM. I love you like a fat kid loves cake. But it wasn't the Spaniards and it wasn't the Americans. It was the mighty Arab nation. Because they continued slavery long after other countries had abolished it. But continue.
That says ugly people are pretty gross. Absolutely. They are. So there are a lot of black people in South and Central America. Tessa Thompson is Central American. Nia DaCosta is from Brazil and Jamaica. She's mixed. Yeah, Rise us a plethora of knowledge.
Yeah.
Not Steve with the gang knowledge, just Max.
Always tapped in.
Shaolin says, I'm sorry, beefing with Angry Joe is something I could never do. Yeah, I think we hit that one up before. RM, welcome in. I used to watch his video game reviews, and yeah, he's just provocative for views.
Yeah, 100%. Here's what I'm saying about this entire topic here, right?
Well,
so I would love to see a formal debate about this topic, just on some nerd comic shit, right? Here's the one thing that Young Ripper does extremely well. Even though it's conjecture, right? He will go into artist and writer intent. And I think this is where he usually has a lot of people at a disadvantage in these conversations because they don't know enough about comics. He will argue like, hey, based off of this line work, it appears to me. And then that's pretty much the argument because he knows that much about who the inker was, who the illustrator was, who the writer was.
Oh, yeah, he knows his stuff.
He knows his shit.
I'll say another thing is why I feel his motivation about the April O'Neil stuff is. And so if you ever notice, and I know some of you are very against racial swaps in fiction. Like,
I hate it.
There are some people who are. I think actually, not to call you up, but I think Shaolin's kind of like that. He's like unnecessary, right? Absolutely unnecessary. Rippa is probably 10 times worse than anyone we know on that matter. Right. And the way I see it is that he's basically saying, you don't need to throw us a bone on a technicality. You don't need to give us April O'Neil. We have our own black characters. We don't need to pretend April's black.
100%. This is the guy that campaigned. He was so excited when the original Doctor Strange movie was coming out, the first Doctor Strange movie, because he thought, you remember there was a big rumor that Dr. Voodoo was going to be in it, or I think it was part 1 or part 2, and he's a huge Brother Voodoo, aka Dr. Voodoo, second person, I believe, don't quote me on this, to hold the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme.
For a while there, he became Sorcerer Supreme.
He was really pumped up about it because Dr. Voodoo actually has a Brother Voodoo, whichever one you choose, has a rich backstory. He wasn't a tokenized version of Doctor Strange, right? He became the Sorcerer Supreme because the Ashanti or Vashanti, whatever they're called, had abandoned Stephen Strange and he stepped into the mantle. He wasn't made to be the polar, the exact thing as Strange. And that's Ripper's standpoint of this. The reason he dislikes Miles Morales so much is because Miles Morales was a character that was brought in, according to him, to be the tokenized version of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, he hates it. He makes mad videos shitting on Miles Morales. One of the main reasons I know, like, I'm updated on what happens in Miles Morales' comics is because Young Ripper makes videos shitting on him.
Right. I love that RM said, I don't have a problem with that, LOL. Like, I defend the mighty Arab nation. I know you do.
Alan says, nah, I'm fine with it as long as it makes sense. Laugh out loud. Steve hates it. Steve's the one who hates it. Yo, you have been pretty adamant against race swaps.
Because of the narrative, right? I know that, like, bro, why do I need a black Superman? Right? I don't need a black. I don't need a black Superman. I would be okay with the Elseworld story as long as you're telling the Elseworld story about a black Kryptonian. But I don't need this stuff. I would rather see a movie, 2 different companies, but I would rather see a blue Marvel movie. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many black characters that, particularly Marvel. DC's bad with black characters. Marvel has a ton of black characters that could do great.
Yeah.
And instead they're turning Wonder Man black.
It doesn't make sense.
Bringing in real black dudes. Ryan Jones says white immigrants in the USA weren't always considered white and acceptable. Italians, Greeks, Poles, Hungarian Slavs, and other European groups have to overcome prejudice over many years. Absolutely.
Very true.
I've always said, I keep bringing up this episode, but there's that episode of Atlanta where they talk about it, being able to buy your whiteness. And he's like, yeah, and he said, dude, they're talking about some rich people who got killed, rich blacks, and he's like, it's a shame they were almost white.
Who's that? Wait, what?
In Atlanta, they're talking about Black Wall Street and like how they were killed or whatever. And he's like, it's a shame they were almost white. And they're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you didn't know that if you become rich enough, you're considered white. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, you do it all. He's like, what is white? You can't scientifically be a white. He's like, all these different groups came from other countries and they weren't white. They had to buy their way in.
Right. It's true. You got to pay to play. Now, so the thing about Black Wall Street, man, the reason why I'm so sensitive, and I'll use that word to describe myself, is because of what's associated, what happened with Black Wall Street. It's like, Tulsa. That's one of those things. Shout out to RM, aka Gray Winthrop, aka Grim Inquiries. Did a great episode about the Tulsa City massacres and other massacres where affluent black communities were. But back to the bullshit. Angry Joe broke the bro code. Bro, you were falsely accused of something and then you falsely accused someone else. I can't let that slide, man. I can't. You can't call someone an Uncle Tom. Like, what proof do you have that young Rippa is being an Uncle Tom other than the fact that he's so secure in his blackness that he's like, yeah, I don't need to be pandered to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Rye Jones says the original Turtles were kind of white surfers.
Not kind of white.
Yeah, they're super white. And they were changed from 2012 to Black Turtles who say Booyakasha.
Booyakasha.
Head of Cowabunga. I didn't know. I guess I didn't watch 2012 Turtles. I didn't know any of this.
It's not good. It was not good.
Rippa is whack for his Miles views. 616 Miles, maybe. But he was definitely not created in the Ultimate line as absolutely.
He wasn't. I agree with you 100%. Sean.
In Ultimate, that's the best Miles. In the Ultimate line when there's no Peter Parker, that's they should have left. They should have left the Ultimate line. Jesus Christ.
Well, they're hinting at it. So after the events of Time's Up and obviously Battle World, I don't know if you know this. You weren't up on the whole King in Black thing. I know you didn't want to get into that whole shit, and we don't have to. But the maker from the Ultimate Universe made his way to 616, and then he made his way back.
Richards, yeah.
He made his way back to the Ultimate Universe, and even though it was in shambles, it still existed.
Oh,
so they hinted. Yeah, they hinted because they brought the Ultimate version of Venom, the Venom symbiote, to main 616. It's very interesting. I love the maker. I think he's one of the best characters that's ever been written.
Oh, he's amazing. He's other and the epic that revealed him, because I read a lot of Ultimate Fantastic Four. I actually really love it. Because at first you don't know that Reed Richards is a traitor. He's playing along with them, and then finally they kind of figure out, and they're like, wait a minute. It's you the whole time. And because he's a nerd that no one would assume that he's a traitor.
Bro, you know what's amazing about that when the time runs out and leading into Battle World, Thanos goes to with the Cabal. He goes to the Ultimate Universe and they're working with Nick Fury to get them ready to fight 616. And he says to Nick Fury of the Ultimate Universe about the 616, he's like, oh, it's a dreadful place filled with the mightiest heroes you've ever encountered. You won't stand a chance against them. I love that because it's true. Because the Ultimate Universe was created to be like a realistic version. Yeah. They can't stand up against these altruistic titans.
It's crazy. By the way, Shaolin, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I'm sorry, but Raphael always gave me black man energy, like Knuckles and Piccolo. Absolutely.
I agree, but we got to remember in the original Turtles movie, he was definitely an Italian dude.
Yeah, it's funny that because people point out that they're like, of course he's black. He's angry and quick to pull a blade out on somebody.
It's clear. Why don't you see it?
The only group that can't move into whiteness is black folks. Well, they probably have to pay a higher amount, but you can always be Tiger Woods. You can always be Kanye West. So.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
But it's funny that these beef these people be getting into. Absolutely. The internet, man, the internet. We'll only be so lucky if we can get into beef with someone.
I mean, I would like to think that we would handle them like the day we actually get into a YouTube beef. That's going to be the episode where Mantis and I are both sober and we have bow ties on. It's like, oh shit, these motherfuckers came for war. But here's the thing, man. So they're having this back and forth. I would urge young Ripper not to come out of himself. This is a man that enjoyed a great deal of success, right? Indie comic, was not fan funded. Donations, right? Millions of dollars were made for Isom Man. For Isom or whatever the name of the book is, right? Angry Joe, I don't think he's losing any relevance, but it just doesn't seem worth it. You know what I'm saying? Don't have an N-word moment as Dave Chappelle described it in this show for Angry Joe, bro. It's not worth it.
I mean, do you think it increases clicks, the beefing?
Clearly. Clearly, I think so.
We need to, as collectively, we need to start beef with someone.
Okay. Who you want to beef with?
It has to be on our, because if it's higher level, they're just going to ignore us. So we have to have somebody like, I'm
trying to think. Welcome in, Tim.
What up, Tim? We should start beef with Matt.
Matt says Isom was all right. Yeah, that was the review that he got from a lot of people. It was all right.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think I might pick up the book now. All this talk about it, I need to at least see what Rippa's bringing. All right.
I'll talk to you about off air. I'll talk to you about it off air. There's room for improvement for sure. And Rippa, you can't take offense to that. And also, I'm not scared of you. You can't take offense. There's always room for offense. I mean, room for improvement.
I'll beef with you guys. Okay, hell yeah. You're an Uncle Tom. No.
You know what word I think is more offensive as Uncle Tom? I hate the word wigger. When someone calls
you hate the word wigger, I love the word wigger.
No,
what up, Serge? Welcome in.
Because to use that word, you are saying something about black people to call that white person something.
No. Because
yes, you are. You're making a claim.
No, because the white person is mimicking a cliche or a stereotype about black people.
So you replace the W with an N. You're making a claim. You're calling black people something to call that person something.
No, because they're mimicking a false interpretation of what black people are.
Mantis, you dear sweet naive soul.
What do you call wiggers then? What do you call wiggers?
Huh?
What do you call wiggers?
By their name, like, hey, idiot, stop fucking talking like that.
You don't have a general, like when you want to talk about a group of them?
No, I don't use the term wigger. I don't use the term wigger at all.
Hello, Laney. Welcome in,
Laney.
Wait, yo. Read that comment, please.
I can't. How do you feel about what am I reading here?
How do you feel about Unk N-word?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what is going on there?
What does it mean?
Remember?
Hey, can I ask you a question? I'll use this as a segue to the next main topic. Do you think Michael B. Jordan is corny?
I don't think so. I haven't seen him like out of character very often, but
To the ladies in the chat, is a guy being corny a good thing? Is that a positive way to describe a good
well,
guy?
at the Oscars, both him and what's his face and Jonathan
Majors and Michael B. Jordan, that bromance, I'm here for that
yeah,
shit.
they gave an award out, and like when they do, when you do the joke before the award, it was so cheesy. I can't remember the joke, but I remember they were just being so cheesy. It was like, come on, guys.
Oh, man, Mantis, you are such a fucking desensitized hater, man. I don't understand it. What the fuck, bro?
You're here to make me laugh, bitches. I walked in at the perfect time. Lainey, you did.
Welcome, Lainey. Welcome.
Actually, you missed some shenanigans. Actually, you guys never heard.
Oh shit! It's a variant of Hotep. I'm here for it. I got love for the Hotep community, as you know.
Yes, Hoteps. Michael B. Jordan is shy, not corny.
Okay.
Yes, he's corny, but no, it's not bad. I think obviously if a guy is cute, women will like a corny guy. Just like if a guy is cute, women will like a nerdy guy, right?
Bex is in on this one. We were somewhere the other night where the word corny was being dissected, and Bex wants to call a man corny and it be okay. I'm saying you can't call a man corny.
Wait, you motherfuckers calling me corny?
Well, we would both be considered corny.
Rogue Radio says, yeah, I thought the term was all about a white person acting black to make them seem tougher or cooler. It happens a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. There has to be a word for people like that.
No, yeah, I agree with Rogue Radio because I lived in the Midwest, but I really dissected it. To call someone a wigger means you still have to call them a right. Well, the attributes, the things attributed to being the N-word are not positive, right? So you're still dissing black people by doing that. You're still dissing black people.
I don't know. So you know Leanne and Cyrus, right? And so Leanne is from Scotland. Cyrus, Cyrus, a black dude from Massachusetts. He's married to Leanne. And I was at their house. It was a housewarming thing, and I made a joke about a wigger. I was like, blah, 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 and I made a wigger, and she goes, and she's Scottish, and she's like, what did you just say? And I said, a wigger, like a white guy who thinks he's black. And she's like, we don't use that word in this.
You poor simple Europeans.
I was like, this is America. We use it all the time.
Hey, go for it.
Michael B. Jordan seems very shy in interviews and on stage at the Oscars, very reserved. That's great.
Michael B. Jordan is a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely. He needs to be in more stuff, man. I feel like I don't see enough of him.
Well, I don't think he's the greatest actor. I don't think he has the greatest amount of range, but I do think he's going to be Will Smith 2.0, right? Yo, Will Smith is corny. Michael B. Jordan is smooth.
He's super corny. He's the king of corny. Shouting until he's slapping people, right? Why do people think he's corny? I generally have to know. I agree. I don't understand where people are
let me explain to you. Because he's never been to prison, he ain't got 4 babies out of wedlock, right? And because he doesn't sag his pants, he pronunciates and articulates himself in a very high form.
The word wigger, but you're making these statements about Michael B. Jordan.
No, I'm saying these are good statements.
He hasn't been in prison.
No, that's why they call him corny, because he's not a thug, right?
And he articulates, and they're like, yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm getting it now. Oh my god. That's horrible. That's horrible that they say that about him.
Like they call Michael B. Jordan corny, but they don't call their ex-boyfriend that beat on them anything other than my baby daddy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yo, that's horrible, man. That breaks my heart. If the corny makes a woman laugh, it's a win. Just saying. Yeah, no, absolutely. Jonathan is not corny, says Beck.
He's on the same energy as Michael B. Jordan.
I understand both of you, says Rogue. So he's a responsible man.
Wait, don't you dare skip over that first message. Put it up on the screen, right above the one you just picked.
Yes, Steve is
right. It's like an aphrodisiac to me.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna cut out this part. Because clearly Bex doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. He's a responsible man. We can't even responsible in the spot. I mean, absolutely no, you can't. You absolutely cannot. And so I'm called corny all the time.
Yeah, I'm the one calling you that.
I knew you were talking shit.
So you call corny all the time. Is Will Smith the most successful celeb ever? Movies, music, TV show, YouTuber versus like Tom Cruise, who only does movies. I mean, technically, a lot of people view Tom Cruise as, if not
He's the white version of corny, right?
He is the most successful. Like Tom Cruise has defied the odds of remaining relevant for decades.
Yeah, that's why, like, when he makes sequels to stuff, he's outliving and out being healthy of all his actors. Like Val Kilmer's, like, can't speak anymore because he's withered and old. And the female that used to be in Top Gun, they couldn't recast her because, well, she's gone to shit.
Has she?
Like, yo, you didn't hear about this whole thing?
No.
People pull the double standard card that they're like, his girlfriend from the first Top Gun wasn't invited back because she's old and gained weight.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, he's still like hot. And so
it's because it's Scientology. Clearly it works.
Oh, they're in league with the aliens. He's drinking aliens' blood.
No, not aliens. They're aliens that are embedded in our cells. It's very complicated. Very complicated.
You need to take a stress test to understand. Just to piss off Mantis, Steve is right. Damn you, Rogue. Damn you, witchcraft. But we need to move on to our next topic.
Let's roll.
Is the Oscars. I already mentioned it earlier. And our next topic mainly is Angela Bassett. Now, there's been a lot of talk about what happened last night. I think a lot of it is race
tight. My mom is tight right now. She's tight.
Are you serious?
Like, she loves Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, literally, she says, I have history with Jamie Lee Curtis, referring to she enjoys Jamie Lee Curtis's body of work. She doesn't have beef with Jamie Lee Curtis. But she's very upset. She's very upset with this.
That one from Top Gun looks like any elementary school lunch lady. It's crazy. And so, actually, I'm not going to say that because you guys are going to laugh at me. My grandmother.
Your lunch lady? Was that what you were going to say? You sick bastard! Oh, sorry.
You know my grandmother was a lunch lady.
Oh shit! Sorry.
It wasn't in good shape, so it's okay.
Okay, so Angela Bassett. Something happened with Angela Bassett.
So basically, the award ceremonies, people always think that like the award ceremonies leading up to the Oscars is going to predict the Oscars. Obviously, the Oscars is the most prestigious of them all. The Academy is a secret organization that there's no explanation. Seriously, this is like a secret society. They don't let you know how you're let in. But
it's Hydra. It's literally Hydra.
You work in the industry, and some people get invites to join, and others don't. It's bizarre, right? You could be a carpenter who builds sets, and somehow you get invited. You get one day a letter, and they're like, "We want you to invite you to join the Academy," and all this stuff. So it's people who work in the industry who vote for these things. Right?
Okay, I'll tell you off air what I've heard the selection process is. I can't go in it on air, but I'll tell you.
Apparently, there's a lot of dick sucking, and because I know you don't like to talk about that. But so all the award ceremonies before the Oscars, there seems to be, it's either Angela Bassett or it's Jamie Lee Curtis for every Everything Everywhere All at Once, as opposed to Angela Bassett playing the Queen of Wakanda and the brokenhearted mother in Wakanda Forever. And
she carried that movie on her shoulders, by the way. But I think a lot of people would say that Everything Whatever was a better movie. Just
yes, I would say that. However, I think both were great performances. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So they are both nominated, as a bunch of other women. Supporting actress. The night comes, and not only do they call Jamie Lee Curtis his name, but the camera pans over and looks at Angela Bassett, and there are people. I feel like they're just inciting a fight. They're like, look at that sourpuss she's making, kind of shit.
I guess Stella didn't get her groove back.
And I just feel like they are instigating a fight.
Right.
They're absolutely instigating a fight. RM says Michael B. Jordan's first big role was playing a little black child adopted by white folks on All My Children. I think everyone who remembers that might see him as corny.
So much to unpack there.
Aliens make me look that good. I'll do the Scientology thing. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Oscars will never give the MCU an acting Oscar. Yeah, no, I feel you, right.
Angela I agree with that.
And so Orion says Angela Bassett wasn't upset about losing the Oscar. She was upset because she wanted the Oscar for Chadwick Boseman. The movie was his funeral. So that during the win they could honor him. Right. I mean, that would have been beautiful. That would have made Oscar history, right?
Absolutely.
Especially since, by the way, the Oscars fucking screwed him. He was up for Best Actor after he died for
Wakanda Forever.
For Black
Panther. Yeah.
Well, no, not for Black Panther. For that jazz movie. It was like a jazz movie.
The Netflix original.
Yeah. And so he was up for that, and he didn't get it. Anthony Hopkins beat him. And I was
what's that blurry and fucking Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, no, I lost my mind when that happened, because that means he'll never win an Academy Award.
Right. Okay, so let's get into it. Did you think Angela deserved it for her performance as the Queen of Wakanda versus Jamie Lee Curtis's character, which I have to be completely honest with you, was comedic, but I didn't think it was that weighty of a performance. I didn't think there was anything in the performance that was that great.
So here's what I'm going to say. I think they were both amazing performances. I would have given it to Jamie Lee Curtis. However, I would not have been upset if it went to Angela Bassett. I wouldn't say someone was cheated.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand they're all five of them are doing good. I don't know if I've seen all five of their performances, but you know what I mean? Like, it's an honor to be nominated in the first place.
Right.
Oh, look, Matt says, everything everywhere all at once was shit, pure shit. so was Wakanda. So whatever. Damn, he doesn't like anything. Damn. What did you like this year, Matt? What movies did you like? Black people still associated with the Oscars is just beyond me, says Bex. I would have been with Uncle Spike Lee and Uncle Denzel at the basketball court. Now, you have to remember, Denzel still supports the Oscars, because last year when Will Smith slapped him, the person who took him to the side to speak to him was Denzel.
Well, Denzel took him to the side to speak to him, to be like, hey, man, pull yourself together on this shit, right? Don't do this with Jada. He's like, smack him for a woman that's worth a damn.
In Will's acceptance speech, he said something that it seemed so cool. He said, Denzel just said to me, the devil comes from you at your greatest moments.
Yes.
And I was like, I love Denzel, man. He's the father I always wanted.
Oh, that was so sad. That was so sad, man. That was so sad. Mantis has feelings. Loser.
But her face made me sad. Who are you hating on?
Talking about Angela Bassett.
Oh, yeah. Everyone said she had a sourpuss. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Instigating a fight between them or something.
I mean, of the two of them, Angela Bassett, also another actor who has just aged so well. And shout out to Angela Bassett's husband, that guy you saw in Law and Order on that one right. Criminal Intent.
Rice's Grace Randolph dissed Angela Bassett after that.
No, she didn't. I'm gonna tear Grace's ass up.
I have a theory about it. So she didn't. I don't think she dissed her, but she did say, she says, look how sad, pathetic, and broken Angela Bassett is. How could they do this to her? And I'm like, on one side, like, she's being like sympathetic. On the other side, I'm like, okay, calm down. She's not broken. She's not fucking broke. You know, she's not a little bitch, yo. She's not a beta woman who can't fucking handle her shit. Beta. Why do they keep letting Jimmy Kimmel host? He's not funny. I absolutely agree.
No, he's not funny. He's not funny at all.
Steve is right. What is RM going on about? What is he right about?
The truth is coming out right now, Mantis.
Heath Ledger, the best ever Joker. he won the Oscar. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I see where Rye Jones is going in regards to the comment and
Like,
that
who can win a comic book movie Oscar?
Yes.
And actually, in fact, 2 Jokers have won out. Yes, because what's his face? Joaquin won, didn't he?
Yeah, Joaquin won. Old hairline lip.
I'm in the same boat with Mantis. Curtis should have won, but I've been fine with the Bassett. Yeah, it would have been fine with both of them. They both did great stuff. Matt is literally the critic from the cartoon The Critic. Oh, do you know that?
I love that show.
I love that. He's like, his catchphrase was "hated ads."
No, you're thinking about the well, we can't even talk about it, but they were Damon Wayans in Living Color.
Oh yeah, they said, that's a different which is weird. Hollywood doesn't believe in God, and they let the devil get a foothold, and he's not. Yo, that's so funny. You should say that because for those who know, what's his name, Rainn Wilson. He played Dwight in The Office. This week he got in, like, basically he's on Hollywood's radar because he pointed out in The Last of Us. Have you heard about this?
No.
He made a tweet. Rainn Wilson said there's such an anti-Christian sentiment in Hollywood. In the latest Last of Us, as soon as they saw that guy praying or reading out of a Bible, I knew he was going to be a villainous son of a bitch.
Yeah,
and he was absolutely right. And like now people are all on his ass for saying that, but I think there's way truth to that.
Well, no, it's the most clear thing, right? Obviously, it's antithetical. They take the opposite position of Christians. They are vocal about this. Why is that a bad thing to say? But let's jump back into it. So you don't think either actress had a performance that really sets them apart to win it? Like,
no, here's what I'm saying. I think they're both great.
Okay.
And so I feel that about a lot of it's very rare that in a thing that I'm like, it has to be this one and the other 4 are trash. I never feel that way. I can see why people like Angela Bassett, and I can see why people like Jamie Lee Curtis. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If I had to vote, I would give it to Curtis. However, if I was in a voting block and Bassett won, I wouldn't be like, this is robbery. This is robbery. I won't stand for this.
I will not let this injustice go.
Will Smith's Oscars acceptance speech was great. In this business, you've got to be able to have people disrespecting you, and you've got to smile, and you've got to pretend like it's okay. Yeah, I mean,
especially if you're married to freaking Jada Pinkett, you're already prepped for it. You're already prepped for it.
The rage of the cuck, man. The rage of the cuck. Oh, Rainn Wilson is a Baha'i. Okay, that's fascinating. Believes in God. So, good point. We don't see celebs as humans when we troll them on social media. It's not just celebs. It's anyone. It's anyone up in performance. You could have somebody who has 10 followers. If you get into their stream, and you could be like us, you could be like, you still want to troll them because you're like, fuck this person. Right? They don't have.
Don't come in here with that energy because there's just enough of you in here we could respond to that type of stuff like stream stops.
Rogue Radio says, "Oh, okay, Rain, okay, bro, yeah, right." That's pretty cool that he said that. But like, yeah, that's why people say such hurtful things. It wasn't. Thank God, the only reason I'm able to do YouTube now is because I did all those web comics back in the day. People used to. I don't understand someone who follows a link to a web comic blog, reads your comic, and then decides to take time out of their day to write a comment that says, "This is the worst piece of shit ever." Which I used to get a lot of, and I was just like, what the hell did I do?
I'm just laughing because you'll click on a link that James Gunn posts. You're like, I haven't even seen this yet, and I know this is garbage.
No, the only difference is James Gunn is garbage. He doesn't have feelings. His wife's a whore.
Whoa.
And the monstrosities he's going to shit out of his ass that he calls a DC slate is going to be ridiculous.
Yo, listen, James Gunn, if you're watching, my boy's wrong. But if you come at my boy, don't ever be in public because if I'm there, I'm going to get at you, James Gunn. He's going to be like, but you said Roy was wrong. And I'm like, doesn't matter. My boy.
You have to have your boys. But don't become a shill for the mainstream media.
No, fuck that.
People want access, which is why they shill for them. Which is why, like, certain YouTubers were pretending Ant-Man wasn't flopping.
So, and that's the simp culture, right? People simp with a motive. Women, be very suspicious of men who refer to themselves as feminist. I'm not saying there can't be men that are feminist, but for the majority, it's like, if I say this, she's going to have sex with me. So it's the same thing with people who just agree with something outright. Look, man, I'm just going to land this here, right? Angela Bassett is an amazing actress, right? And she has an amazing range, despite what many people think. They think that she plays the same character over and over again, but I can prove to you that it's different, right? She has an amazing
Very
range.
different. She's all
She's had a storied career. I'm sorry she didn't win just because I like her, but it's the same can be said about Jamie Lee Curtis, who doesn't have as much range, right? But she's been putting in work for years. She's not mad. Angela Bassett being the she's not mad that she didn't get this. She got the Golden Globe. She got recognized. I do think for her, it was more important that Chadwick, in some way, shape, or form, get recognized. And that's
Jamie got denied the other year. You know, that's one that I was upset because I actually saw The Father, the thing Anthony Hopkins won for, and I was like, nope, that's not what's up. Some old man pretending he's senile. Fuck that shit. Matt says, I do like some things. I just go ham on things that are pure shit. He says, I tell it how it is, basically. I like when Chris Pratt gives speeches. He's always mentions God and his love, respect for his convictions. I make fun of people who talk about like God, but I know if I want anything, I'd be like, oh, thank you,
you'd be the first one to crying.
Man, art is art. I hate it when people shit on people's hard work. That's the thing. So it's actually funny on my YouTube channel. I did top 10 shows of the year and I did top 10 movies of the year, right? At the end of the year last year. And I was about to do top 10 worst of both, right? And someone was talking about like how the internet's just negativity and we should bring more positivity. And I decided not to do those videos.
Right.
Because I'm like, everyone knows She-Hulk is garbage. They don't need another YouTube video telling them.
Yeah. There's a comment in there I want to address from Rye Jones. How did Angela Bassett get so jacked? She's 64, right? Actually, she's been jacked since she did What's Love Got to Do About It. She got in really great shape. She was in great shape before, but she got in really great shape to play Tina Turner, who keeps a great physique. So that's how that happened.
So James Gunn about Grace Randolph, the earth revolves around the sun, mothers love their children, and Grace Randolph will spout bullshit.
Amen. Headshots before back shots. Thank you, man.
Headshots before back shots. I love that. Grace has a lot of conviction and she goes for it. Like she goes for it hard.
Right.
And that
Pause.
Wait, you're pausing me like this is like a moment?
No, pause as in she goes for it hard. Got to be a pause somewhere. Right?
Here's what it is. She has passion and conviction in what she does, and so she goes for it. And sometimes, like, because it's based off of rumors and like gossip, she shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, be like, that's unconfirmed, and she's like, I'm going to report it because I'm excited about my job. And then it kind of makes her sometimes she gets egg on her face, and particularly with James Gunn. I forgot what it was she did to piss off James Gunn. I think she probably just gave Suicide Squad a bad review.
Right.
And I think at that point he was like, F this chick.
Well, she underestimated the fact that James Gunn would respond. Right? Like James Gunn has got time.
He responds to everybody.
He's got time. He's like, James Gunn is sitting there with his phone in his hand like, I got time for this.
Yeah, that's crazy. Which means that he's not working hard at DC Universe. So, like, it's funny that like he's one of those few creators that you can directly just be like, at James Gunn, you're a piece of shit, no talent hack. Go back to the cesspool that you call your mother's vagina.
And he's like, what did you say?
And he won't block you.
No, I actually respect that about him, that he's willing to engage. Now, is that the behavior that a CEO, co-CEO should do?
Right. That's
probably,
not like
probably.
Maybe the director of like a franchise, like like Guardians, but I don't think like if you're the Kevin Feige's brilliant that he never comments on anything.
Yeah, well, I could see Vin Diesel responding, right? Anyone associated with the Fast and Furious franchise, they're like, you said what?
And
Fuck
we know
your
The Rock
mother.
we also know The Rock would respond. I love The Rock, but we all know these guys these muscle guys wear their hearts on their sleeves. I love how RM says, laugh out loud, poor lady from Peacemaker. Yeah, poor lady from Peacemaker, aka James Gunn's wife. She has to be married to that asshole.
It's getting loose. It's getting loose. It's getting loose. It's getting loose. It's getting very loose.
That's right, Steve. Bros before hoes. Absolutely. James Gunn and Simu Liu are the most outspoken people in Hollywood now. They attack they attack. Why does anyone think that's cool to attack people on social media?
Well, wait, there are consequences. Why can't they respond back? Like, you make a false allegation, you make a false claim, you present a false premise. Why can't they respond to that? Right?
I agree with that one. However, I think they sometimes respond to like stupid shit too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And,
like the fact that he responded to Nerd Theory, no disrespect to Nerd Theory, but yeah, you're punching down, James. You're punching down.
The thing that drives me crazy about the Nerd Theory thing is that like Nerd Theory goes, James Gunn doesn't like Henry Cavill, and then somebody's like, that's not true, and he's like, no, I heard it's true. I heard it's all around, and then the guy's like, James Gunn debunked this, and he's like, okay, yeah, it's absolutely not true. I love Henry Cavill. And then a week later, he fires Henry Cavill.
Well, wait, can you not love someone that you fire?
I don't know what you think the definition of love is. Like, I don't know what's going on with you, bro. Cows before gals, dicks before chicks. Not simple
culture.
Poker before you poker. That's really good.
Oh, Lord.
Lord. How did Angela get so jacked? Oh, she's 64. Hate sells. Gets the views. I think it was Grace said Bane was in the last scene of Pacemaker, and he called her out on it.
Oh, yes, that's what it was. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. Like, she makes these calls, and like I mock her too. Like, don't get me wrong. We all know this. But yeah, like sometimes she just goes for it, and like she shouldn't have, because like when it becomes unconfirmed, right?
Well, we've already gotten into like the drivel part of the show, but in wrapping up the Jamie Lee Curtis versus Angela Bassett, here's where you can make the most legible argument. Which movie was better? And does that movie being better somehow become the foundation of why you were picked as best supporting actress? Wakanda Forever was not the best offering from the MCU. It had its moments, but it wasn't great, right? It wasn't great. But Angela Bassett was great. Now, Everything Always Sometimes on Tuesdays was a great movie, but Jamie Lee Curtis performance in to my mind wasn't anything that really stood out. So how do you balance those things, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you balance those things?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with you, because if you think about it, anything that wins an Oscar is gonna go down in the history books. It's gonna be in like cinema history, right? And so, like, do they really want Wakanda Forever being in cinema history? Now, I understand some of you love it.
Race traitor.
Like, oh, it's so great, it's so great. Did you see how Rihanna sang that song? Yeah, I did. It was all right. Is it worthy to be put in like a national library and be like, this is an Academy Award winning film? I think they might be embarrassed to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Which is why Ana de Armas, she was up for Best Actress for Blonde. That's why she'll never win for Blonde. That movie Blonde was horrible. Yet Ana de Armas is like, her acting as Marilyn Monroe was perfect.
Right.
Like, he channeled Marilyn Monroe in a horrible movie.
Right.
And that's probably why they're like, we're not even considering this, because that movie is
it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie, man. I don't know. What else do we have? Do we have anything else going on tonight?
Speaking of Kevin Feige, because Rye says, if Kevin Feige interacted more with fans, then MCU wouldn't be such a mess.
Oh, now that's an interesting
Shots have been fired.
That's an interesting point.
I'm angry with it, but the reason why I said that's interesting, that because our third story is about your homegirl, your boo.
My boo?
Yeah, Brie Larson.
Oh, I love that bitch.
Well, are you gonna love her after you hear what just happened?
Well, what happened this time?
So
like any bad ex-girlfriend, it's like, What did she do? How long was she in the bathroom with him? Are you sure it was her? Like, what happened?
So there are these multiple rumors coming out that are saying that the real reason that these movies, the Marvels, is delayed is that Brie Larson has been a nightmare to work with. She keeps getting into fights with the other girls on the scene. Tiana Paris and who plays Miss Marvel? I'm sorry if I forgot her name. But anyway, she's been getting into fights with them, flipping out on special effects guys, being like, "You're not making me look cool enough." Supposedly, she's pissed that it's not called Captain Marvel 2. However, didn't we always know that it was going to be called?
Yeah, I think this is low hanging fruit. I just don't see Brie Larson, not because of her altruistic belief system or anything like that. I just don't think she would do this and put herself in the crosshairs. So I think this is like a nothing burger. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't go from going, "Hey, I want to be casted with Tessa Thompson so we can be a couple," to this. Like, she's a person that knows how to play this game on social media and otherwise. So I think this is kind of BS. What do you think?
I think it's possible. I don't know. I can see it going either way.
Okay, let me lay it out even plainer for you. I think that she's so caught up in what most people would call SJW woke nonsense. She would not do anything that would put her in the crosshairs of black women, right? There's no way she would sabotage her career this way, bro.
Actually, that is fucking well said. It is true that she's so conscious that she probably checks with like the woke Bible before she wipes her ass.
Right.
So why would she have on-set fights with a black woman, right?
She's not going to survive that bullshit.
Yo, James Gunn keeps avoiding Gal Gadot questions. He never gives a yes or no answer like he did with Henry Cavill. Okay. Brienne Sidoni DeSaulnier, professionally known as Brie Larson. Good thing she changed that name. That is a horrendous name. That is an unfortunate name. The Marvels is delayed because two of the main cast just had babies.
Okay.
Oh, these women always having babies.
Whoa.
Ashton and Tiana Paris had babies a few days ago. Oh, wow.
Okay.
I sincerely doubt that's true. She would trip over herself to be nice to her castmates, even if she was being fake. But how do we know this?
Because that's what you do if you're on the woke train. This is what I'm talking about, the consistency of your view, right? You cannot call her woke and says she's doing things to pander and then say she's going to not pander to her black and the young lady, is she Pakistani?
She's Pakistani. Yeah. But here's the thing though. This is the problem with wokeness. People equate falsely wokeness with goodness or kindness or moral righteousness. They're not. They're all hypocritical monsters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not equating it with goodness. I'm saying that if you're gonna keep up that vestige, that visage of like that of I am so in tune with what's right in regards to this social commentary, I don't see her doing this.
All humans have a breaking point. You can't maintain being fake all the time. You have to run out of steam eventually. Eventually, your real face will be revealed.
No, I'm still doing good. My real face has not been revealed.
We all know what a monster you are. You think we don't see through you, but we see what's going on.
I gotta use the bathroom. Can you continue this philosophical conversation?
Absolutely, Chief. So while my homie does his thing, let's talk about stuff. What is up with you guys? How are you living? So what is new up in this world? So we have, I sincerely doubt that's true. Brie Larson gives me acid reflux, says Rogue Radio. I love that. The beef, if true, was caused by Nia DaCosta after she removed Captain Marvel from the title to protest Monica Rambeau not being chosen as the MCU Captain Marvel. And so that's interesting because one of the main problems with the MCU that I have is that they change too many things, particularly timeline. Now, if you actually rip up the timeline of it, Marvel was Captain Marvel, then it was Monica Rambeau, and then actually, to be honest, it was his evil son took up the role, and then it was Carol Danvers who actually took the title. She was Miss Marvel that entire time. So really, actually, Monica Rambeau, not in appearance, obviously Carol Danvers should have appeared, but really Monica Rambeau should have taken up the mantle after, like right after. Welcome back.
You've gotten really good at these transitions. Did you get a stream deck, or is it what's the magic?
It's just me being awesome.
God damn.
Ta-da!
All right. Go for it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. So we're talking about how actually what's her face? Monica Rambeau should have been Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers, according to the comics.
Yeah, according to the lore, for sure.
And so they let a white woman skip the line.
God damn, Mantis. Why are you always race baiting? Why are you always doing this?
That's funny. I accuse others of race baiting, but maybe I'm the race baiter.
So speaking of race baiters, let's get into Grace Randolph's commentary about the Oscars.
Yeah, Angela Bassett, she put down some real fiery tweets and then didn't participate in the madness that ensued in the she stepped away. She's like, "Oh, my work here is done." And then there's a race riot in the tweets. Removing Captain Marvel. I'm living my best life, says Dragon Lady. That's what I like to hear. I dragged myself from my sick bed to watch this. Are you sick, RM? Are you sick?
RM, thank you so much for your commitment. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. It's honestly, we appreciate you all who decide to come out and watch two morons argue about society and culture as if we know anything about it.
I didn't social studies. I didn't even understand that class. I was like, what are we doing here?
Rogue Radio says I made business cards for my art and podcast business. I love hearing that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, he has. Go Mantis. That's what's up. And then
Sam Bex is a simp.
It's you. You're the problem. It's you. Okay. Yeah, maybe I am the problem. Yo, honestly, I would give Grace Randolph an apology because clearly I'm the problem if she would even speak to me. So but, I don't think that's going to happen. So in Marvel mythology, Captain Marvel is the legacy of Marvel. Yes. Carol was his girlfriend and got her power straight from him because yes, and that's an important thing. I actually think that more Marvel movies need to be more comic accurate, and I would have rather seen that movie where she's the girlfriend, the pilot girlfriend of Marvel.
Wait, let me see if I heard you correctly. In this climate, you would have rather dealt with the backlash of a woman getting her powers given to her by a man?
You're the problem. You're the problem.
No, I'm not the problem. I'm asking you in this climate.
This is the problem. This is when people create feminism, they're like, that's exactly what happened. There was a room full of feminists who said she got her powers from a man.
What?
A real feminist doesn't need a man. This is disgusting. And then they made a crap movie.
Right.
You see that movie
that movie made bank though. You know, we know that it made bank because
we all know everyone thought they needed to see it to see Endgame. We all know that's what happened. Right?
It worked. It worked.
They can't keep pulling that trick anymore because they're out of Endgames, right? Let's see how all the Marvels do because I got my doubts right there. Monica Rambeau had nothing to do with him and was named Captain Marvel only for retaining copyright on the character. However, you're right. She had similar powers and she named herself Captain Marvel, but she had her own comic book, which was cool. I actually have her issues from the late 80s.
She's got a new comic, by the way, as well.
But they won't. But here's what I'm saying: they won't let the sister have her true title as Captain Marvel. They gave it to the white chick.
Good point. I concede to that. But the new comic, I read some of it, and it's actually really good.
What do they call it? Spectrum? They call it Spectrum?
I don't know what the fucking name is. I'll tell you this. I also enjoyed that comic and the new Wanda comic. the new Wanda comic, her redemptive arc in Marvel,
Yeah.
it's actually good, bro. Like it's actually good. Like it's good. It's really good.
My point is that Monica Rambeau was forcibly named Captain Marvel due to the need to retain copyright on the character and title. In addition, Carol was created
a valid
in
point.
1968, and Monica. Yes, however, here's another thing I would do, and I know this is not feminists won't like this, and Steve won't like this.
Oh right, Photon. Oh, I'm sorry, Photon. The new comic.
She was Photon, right? She was Photon for a while. So this is another thing. Remember, Carol Danvers' original code name was Miss Marvel, and I would have made a Miss Marvel movie, not a Captain Marvel movie.
Why would I have a problem with that? I'm okay with that, motherfucker.
Oh, you seem to be all feminist. You're a male.
No, motherfucker. Where did I go feminist? You fucking communist.
Like, in this climate, we're gonna have a woman get her powers from a
I'm setting you up to understand what it is you're saying, right? You're like, do you really want to deal with that? I don't think you have.
You know what I would say? You know what I would say to the angry female? All 5 of them who watch these movies. I would say, well, that's what happened in the comic. Well, that's what happened in the comic. That's your best defense.
When you say that's what happened in the comic, you know you're gonna hear, well, that's what happened in the Bible. Like that's
too. And then I would tell them to get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich while I write a male their next Captain Marvel movie.
And make sure the sandwich has pickles on it. Amazing.
Carol is the true heir to Marvel, and so here's what I'm saying, right? Here's what I actually think. You know what it is? I know that in this generation, like people want what they want when they want it, but the truth is, I would actually have given Carol an actual full trilogy before she gets the title Captain Marvel. I would have her get her powers from Captain Marvel in number 1, her be Miss Marvel for 3 movies, and then at the end of the 3rd one, take on the mantle of Captain Marvel and earn it the way she did in the comic book, instead of her being just handed infinite power because she was standing in the wrong place like they did in her movie.
Well, you heard it here first. Mantis is a sexist and he hates women. He wants women to earn things as if they have the equal ability to do so.
Yeah, you're supposed to sing that to the beat of Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. When I'm alone again,
I'm singing it. That chick is definitely monitoring YouTube. She's like, you said what?
You mean she's monitoring me? And for those who don't know, Taylor Swift is obsessed with me. They think I'm kidding, but it's true. She watches every move I make, every YouTube. I know, like you look at my hits and people are like, Mantis, you only have 162 views on this. Yes, but one of them is Taylor Swift. Every time.
For sure. I'm with you. I agree with you 100%.
Monica is Photon in the Marvels and all the new comic books. Okay. You know why I thought she was going to be Spectrum is because this is so stupid, but I thought it was foreshadowing in WandaVision. When Monica was going to the sword base, there were all on the monitors. There were ads for Spectrum cable.
Right.
And I thought that was like foreshadowing that, because in the comics, one of her code names was Spectrum. So
Mantis is trying to live down the whole Mephisto thing during WandaVision.
No, I was wrong that there was Mephisto. However, you admit it would be better if there was a Mephisto.
No, of course, but like you're a cult leader for sure. You're like, motherfucker, I'm telling you, Mephisto's he's at the root of all this shit.
Rye says, how did Gal Gadot get away with saying this in 2017 and 2022? If you aren't a feminist, you're a sexist.
Because she's attractive and she used her female privilege to do so, which is the paradoxical portion of this. She had to be an attractive woman to say it for people to ignore it.
So wait, hold on. By the way, I am probably, here's the deal. I'm a second wave feminist. No, basically the concept that like you believe that men and women should be treated equally. That's the basic concept of feminism. It's just that modern fourth wave feminism has taken it in a crazy direction where it means all sorts of other stuff. But the basis, the original back in the days that like what the hippies were marching for is the type of feminist I am. of course I'm a feminist. Of course I think women should.
Yeah, you believe in equal opportunity, not equal outcome, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, stop trying to cut off my dick. I just feel like the modern day feminists trying to castrate us brothers all the time, yo. Like they're like, you're a man and you're a hater and you're evil. Take his job, take his livelihood. And I'm like, yo, I didn't do anything to you. I didn't give you 70 cents on the dollar. That wasn't me.
I didn't do it. I'm just
Some
trying to
other
have sex. I'm just trying to have sex.
Marvel is property of Disney now and is not rough and tumble like it used to. I agree with you. That's why Matt was saying Marvel is DOA.
Dead on arrival.
Yeah.
Mantis, we're at the 1 hour and 40-minute mark.
You feeling
Did you have a good time?
I'm having a great time. Why you ready to hit that?
You do this to me every time. You put it on me, but we made an agreement. It's 1 hour and 40 minutes. We're not on the app that will not be named anymore. We've elevated.
Let's just talk to the chat a little more.
Okay. Pervert. Pervert. Yes, that's Grace creeping up Mantis's stairs. She heard what he said. It's her and Lizzo and Sierra. What? Do you listen? You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Do you listen to a lot of Sierra music? You know who Sierra is, obviously.
Sierra.
Oh, that's bad for her career. So she's
is she new or is she old?
She's old, bro. She's like Missy Elliott old, but never mind. I won't go there because I just realized what I was going to say was going to get this canceled. Let's land here. I just want to ask you this question. I want to ask you this question right now. Why do you hate Lizzo so much?
It's you know what it is? It's the way she carries on in public.
What do you mean by carry on?
Like, when she had she cut the holes in her pants, her ass cheeks were out, and she wanted to get on a plane, and they're like, you have to wear something between you and
you have to wear something covering your ass cheeks.
Yes, yeah. And like she made a commotion about that, like stuff like that. I'm like, that's not cool. This is America, for Christ's sakes.
Put those motherfucking ham hocks away. No one wants to sit on the seat after you.
Rye Jones says, are we ever going to see the Black Wonder Woman Nubia?
No.
That would be cool. But
really, you're a Nubia fan?
I would love the whole I wish they did Wonder Woman right is the thing. And I think Wonder Woman has a great Wonder Woman family and Wonder Woman enemies would be wonderful. They just shit. If DC keeps restarting, they're never going to get to any cool stories.
Holy shit. You know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Wonder Woman and the Shazam trailer.
Yes. And so apparently the director's pissed.
Why?
It's because he wanted to be a surprise, but if no one goes to his movie, what's the point of having a surprise?
Exactly. They needed to do something because no one's really talking about this movie because it's fucking Shazam. Bro, they tried this shit with Kingdom Come, and even after we realized, holy shit, Shazam is trying to blow up a nuke, or he's at the root of this whole thing, he's a problem, niggas were still like, oh shit, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Keep going.
They were still like, yo, it's fucking Shazam. No one cared. And no one cares about this movie. They had to show Gal Gadot in this movie, in the trailer. Right. They had to.
You're right, because speaking of DOA, as Matt using Matt's lingo, most DC products are like garbage at this point, and they need to get every ticket they can. And here's what I'm saying. I love Wonder Woman, and I will definitely. You know what? I wasn't gonna go opening weekend. I'm gonna go now.
Pervert.
I am a pervert. Proud of it.
How dare you be attracted to a woman?
Yo, Sacha Baron Cohen, aka Borat, is Mephisto in the MCU, says Rye Jones.
Yeah. Confirmed.
They should have had him 5 projects ago.
Motherfucker, what's going on with Blade? Can anyone tell me what the fuck is going on with Blade?
You heard the rumor about this one, right?
No.
That they're saying that Mahershala Ali, they kept bringing him stuff that scripts or work that he was like, this is garbage. This isn't going to work. I don't know, man. I don't see why it's so hard to make.
I'm telling you right now, if this movie doesn't happen, I'm going to burn the world down. Like, forget the Thanos snap. I've been waiting for a Blade movie since Blade Trinity, which, by the way, Blade Trinity, the director's cut, is actually a really good movie. Have you watched it? The director's cut?
Oh yeah, I have. Oh yeah, definitely.
It's actually really good. I don't. Who made this? Never mind.
We should have a watch along. We should have Blade Trilogy watch along.
You know I'm here for the bullshit. I watch those movies. I watch them before I go to work every day. I watch Blade movies.
Matt says I want to take my son to see Shazam 2. I'm excited. It's gonna be a boys club. It's gonna be great. I just honestly think like it's so weird that they chose like the Daughters of Atlas to be the villain. Nobody cares about you. Here's what I'm saying.
No one cares about Atlas.
Here's what it is. The villain of a movie is almost equally as important as the hero. People go to see Batman not just for Batman, but his villain, whatever villain is going up against. And so you got to choose wisely. And that is not a good pick.
Okay. Yeah, no. I dig what you're saying. I agree with you. Can you name 2 other film-worthy Shazam villains?
Okay, I got one, but it would totally politically incorrect.
What? Go for it.
Captain Nazi. He actually one of his main enemies is Captain Nazi.
Okay, I'll give you that one. That was obvious. What was the next one?
I can't use Google right now.
So even the fucking worm thing that was
the worm guy. What about the worm guy?
No one's going to go see this movie besides Matt. And Matt, I'll go with you.
And normally I am, normally I'm like I wouldn't say encyclopedic knowledge of comic book stuff, but like normally I have like knowledge, like somewhat knowledge. So anytime I watch a movie, I know what's going on, what the villains are.
Right.
At the end of Shazam, when the worm came out, I was like, I have no idea what's happening.
Exactly, because it's Shazam, right? Only the most astute, well-read comic book nerds know who his villains are. And they needed Gal Gadot in this trailer. It's not a big deal to me.
Yeah, not a big deal. Trying to reboot Blade is like trying to reboot Hellboy.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Why isn't the MCU promoting Secret Invasion yet? It's coming in May. Is it? Everything got delayed. Are you sure it's still coming in May?
Wesley Snipes was perfect as Blade. Agreed.
The Monster Society of Evil hardcover over racism concern. Wait, what? DC Comics cancels Shazam, The Monster Society of Evil hardcover over racist concerns posted. Is it because of Captain Nazi? I know that, like, it's so funny. He's like an evil dude, and he has his symbol is a swastika right on his chest, like a big one.
But you know what? I like that you can have that type of stuff, man. Like, think about how comics used to be. You had Captain America beating up Nazis, so we understood that Nazis were evil.
Yes.
Now you can't even say Nazis, which leads me to believe there might be a secret cell called Hydra promoting that Nazis aren't evil. Like, why can't you say Nazis? Why is it bad to say Nazis now?
And so, like, for instance, this started with our Captain America 1. So, they have the Red Skull wearing some ridiculous costume that has like an armband that isn't a swastika, and he's supposed to have the the swastika armband, and they just didn't put it on the toys because they like didn't want to show it. But like, that's the quintessential nature of his character. He is a Nazi, and we see him beat up a Nazi,
bro. I love that. And when Dr. Doom was going against Black Panther and that whole arc where he was trying to steal vibranium, we remember that Dr. Doom is low-key racist. He meets with Black Panther and he's like, "You have the best of your people." And I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Like, why wouldn't Dr. Doom be racist? Right? Why wouldn't he have these type of views, man? It's great. It works.
The MCU Secret Invasion too small scale. I would agree with that.
Yes,
the actual comic book is so epic and so fun, and like to take out the fact that like skulls have replaced superheroes for a show is just like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, would not read that comic for years, but thank you for giving that. You gave me those comics, and I still have them here. I won't give them back, but it's a great arc. It's a great arc.
I'm used to people stealing my comics. Gonna have to call it a night. It was a great stream. You know what, Rogue? I think we are too, but thank you for stopping in. Thank you, everybody who's in the chat, everyone who's made this thing great. Surge, Rye Jones with all the facts, RM, Rogue Radio, Shellin, Ice, Boxer, Matt, Cat, Logie Bear, Dragon Lady, and if I miss, Bax, Princess Bax was up in this piece. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us today. This has been another exciting episode of the Fanboy Modeling School. Do you have any shout outs or things you want to say, brother?
Make sure you tune in for Pillow Talk with the Pink Princess Bex, 10 p.m. every Thursday on Spoon. Come back for Blurs of a Feather Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. on YouTube. All love, all love.
Absolutely. And so this Wednesday I'm going to be doing a Last Bus stream for Rogue Planet.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good one. And then I don't know. I got nothing else. Oh wait.
Turn the music off. They can't hear you. They can't hear you, bro.
It's St. Patrick's Day on Friday, which means it's coming up to my annual.
Yes, bro.
My annual.
I've been looking forward to this.
It's my annual 12-hour stream where you just get to watch me drink beer all day long and stream. I'll play video games. I'll tell dad jokes. I'll sing songs. After a couple of beers, I'll take requests, whatever you guys want. It's a fun time.
Hey, real quick, last year I loved you made it so far without sounding completely inebriated into the last 35 minutes. And it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was a great time. It's always a great time. This will be my 3rd annual, so it's going to be a good time. Please, everybody, show up this Friday, man. 10 a.m. It starts at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Please tune in, man. It's going to be a good time. Until next time, ciao for now. Peace on earth and goodwill toward men. Until next time, guys.